We are in November of 1910. Inside the station master's house at this remote Russian railway stop called Ostapovo, an 82-year-old man is dying of pneumonia. That man is Leo Tolstoy. At the time, he is a count of immense wealth and the globally revered author of War and Peace. He is not here on a leisurely trip. Tolstoy is a fugitive. Days earlier, he slipped away from his luxurious aristocratic estate in the dead of night, fleeing his own family. When he finally succumbs to illness, he is not laid to rest in a grand mausoleum. He is buried in a simple, unmarked rectangle of dirt in the woods, without a headstone or a cross to mark the spot. For a national hero of his stature, the public expected a massive funeral procession, a marble arch, or a towering monument. To understand why one of history's most famous icons died a runaway in a train station, we have to investigate the catastrophic spiritual crisis that cleaved his life in two. Born into high nobility, a young Tolstoy was shaped by the brutality of military service in the Caucasus and the grueling Crimean War. He channeled those experiences into fiction, securing global fame and extraordinary wealth with epics like War and Peace and Anna Karenina. Yet reaching the pinnacle of elite privilege only resulted in a profound, paralyzing despair. In his memoir, A Confession, he documented a sudden realization: the inevitability of death renders all earthly achievements and wealth meaningless. He was haunted by one question: what if my whole life has been wrong? This realization forced him to frantically search for a new reason to live. Tolstoy began a methodical review of all human knowledge. He looked for answers in the physical sciences, philosophy, and religion. The sciences provided rigid facts about how the universe works, but they offered zero answers on why we live. He turned next to the Orthodox Church. But he found its dogma overly complex and its institutions hypocritical. His breakthrough came from observing the impoverished, illiterate Russian peasants who worked his lands. These ordinary people possessed an unwavering faith that allowed them to accept suffering and the reality of death with complete peace. Tolstoy concluded that truth was found in a simplified, radical Christianity based strictly on nonviolence and the rejection of property. His new beliefs demanded immediate action. He shed his aristocratic clothes for peasant tunics and attempted to sell off his property. His public rejection of church dogma was considered so dangerous that the state formally excommunicated him in 1901. The ultimate breaking point occurred when he decided to relinquish the lucrative copyrights of his life's work to humanity rather than his heirs. This sparked a tragic war with his wife, Sophia, who fought to protect their children from financial ruin. This unbearable domestic tension became a prison. In the middle of the night, he finally, secretly, abandoned his home at Yasnaya Polyana. The collapse at Ostapovo station represented the logical end of a journey for a man who refused to compromise his pursuit of spiritual truth. While he lost his family and his former life, his writings on nonviolence reached a global audience. Mahatma Gandhi was among the leaders who read Tolstoy and was directly inspired by his principles of nonviolent resistance. Martin Luther King Jr. later led a movement deeply influenced by those same philosophical descendants. This legacy returns us to the remote, unmarked grave and the 2 trees planted at the site. Tolstoy remembered a childhood legend. Wherever a person planted a tree in the forest, that spot would become a permanent place of happiness. Tolstoy spent decades and thousands of pages attempting to decipher the human condition. This simple mound of earth stands as his final statement, the total rejection of status in favor of the absolute simplicity he spent half a lifetime trying to reach.